All his good intentions went the other way because he made too high of expectations on a young woman. We know that, Jen. You know that. And now's the time to get it out in the open here. You know the importance of telling the truth when it really counts. And you know what it does to you as a person when you have to deny things that you know are true. It doesn't feel good, does it? Jen? It doesn't feel good to have secrets, does it?
No.
You have to let me know what happened here. Okay? Okay. But you were involved. Right? That's the part we need. Okay? We need to hear that from you because we know you were. We're going to talk this out and figure out what happened. I'm going to make it easy on you, Jen. All you have to do is tell me that you were involved, right? I'm right, aren't I? You know it. We know it. It's plain as day. I'm 100% correct here. I wouldn't be sitting here saying this if it wasn't, Jen. But we have to get through this. You have to get through it. Yes, people came into your house that night. Yes, that part's true. The descriptions you've given, you've held back. You haven't been straightforward. Okay, I know that. Okay? No, you haven't. Okay, we know that. Okay? Let's get it out on the table here, Jen. Okay? It's not true. You were involved in this, right? You knew before that night that this was going to happen. I'm going to make that easy on you. That's a true statement, right? You knew before that night that they were coming. That's all I need, Jen. Let's get the truth out here now. You knew before they came that they were coming, right? Be honest with me, Jen. Give me that. Right? You knew before they got there that they were coming. Now, the good thing is here that you didn't actually shoot anybody. That's a positive in this situation. Because you couldn't do that. You're not that type of person. Right? And a lot of people do that. A lot of kids make the mistake of going out and doing it themselves, okay? You couldn't do that. I know that. I know that. And that's a good thing. But you did make a mistake because you got involved in it. Jennifer, you don't need to live with this pain anymore. Let it in. Look at me, Jen. Let's be honest with each other. I've been nothing but honest with you here today, and I hope you can do the same with me. I'm here to listen. Jen? It's not worth it anymore. It's hurting you. I need to know the details. I can't even say. But I can tell you one thing is that we already know, so you can't change that.
Why did it stop?
I know you did. But it got too far ahead of you, right? You didn't think this far ahead, did you? But once they started, once they came in, you couldn't stop it, could you? Could you? Jen?
Why did it stop?
I know.
I'm not sure if you were able to hear that. She said she wanted to stop it. She wanted it stopped.
Why didn't they stop for you?
I didn't know who they were.
But you were part of the planning, right? You have to tell me that part, and then we're going to work through it together. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want this. You wanted to stop it. You have to prove that to me now. Because at the end of the day, we have to stop this from happening to someone else.
What happened to me?
Jen, we're going to have to deal with it one step at a time, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. I need to know what you did. And then you and I are going to work through this together. Because the most important part of this whole thing is that we do the right thing for your mom. Right? I am her voice right now. I'm working for your mom. That's my job. And I have to get to the bottom of this for your mom. But I need you with me on it. I want you to step back for a minute and think, what would your mom want you to do right now? And I know she's a good woman and she's taught you all your life that, Jennifer, no matter how bad it gets, no matter what you've done wrong, you can come to me and tell me, and I'll understand. Right? And you need to talk to me. Okay, but let's get back to how they got there, why they got there. Because we know that you helped get this thing in order. Right? That's what we need to start with. Then we're going to work through the case. Okay? But we got to start.
What happened to me?
Did you catch that? She said, but what happens to me. I'll play that again.
What happened to me?
Well, I don't know at this point. Okay, because I don't know what you're going to tell me other than that you were involved. But I need to hear it. And I can tell you one thing. I'm going to sit here as long as it takes for you to get this off your chest. Okay? You know what I mean?
Do it.
What's that? Okay, you need to tell me how you got involved in this. You know that, Jen. We need to talk about that. You wanted it to stop, then you have to stop this right now. Okay, because this needs to stop. You can't go around like this anymore. Hiding secrets from your own family. They know, Jen. They know. They're not going to be surprised. What they're looking for you to do right now is to do the right thing. That's what I'm looking for. That's what you're looking for. You know what? What I tell people is just tell the truth. And we're going to sit down here. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. Okay, together. Jen? What happened? How did it start? I'm talking before that day. How did it start before that day? How did this thing get in motion? There was a plan ahead of time, and I want to know about the plan. You can do that. Be strong, Jen. Jen, be strong here. What you have to remember is that we're not offside here. Okay, we know already that it happened. There's absolutely no doubt that you were involved in this, or we wouldn't be sitting here right now. You've been waiting and wondering when the police were going to ask you or tell you this. You thought it was going to happen the last time you were here. Stay with me, Jen. Let's get through this. You're sorry you're out now, are you not? Are you sorry for what happened? Pardon? You wish you could take it back? Jen? Okay, that's good to hear. That's so positive. You wish it didn't happen, right? That night you wish you'd never got this plan in motion, right? Right? You wish you never told anybody to do this, right? Jen? You gotta get it off your chest. Jen, I'm looking for the Jennifer that knows the right from wrong. Are you there? Yeah, okay, sit up and let's talk. Okay, I know this has been hell for you. You have gone through hell for years. All you were looking for is a break. A chance to be on your own. To make your own decisions. To be Jen, right? That's all you were looking for. You felt cornered. You felt like you didn't have any other options. Right? Jen? You didn't have another option, did you? At the time, you felt like this was the only thing you could do. But once it started that night, you wish you could have stopped it so much. Right? Jen? You wish you could have stopped it. How did it start, Jen? Eh? Look at me. How did it start? What was your plan? Let's just go through the plan that you had, okay? Let's start there. We know that you weren't the one that pulled the trigger. We know that. And we know that you could have stopped this whole thing. We know that. But we also know that you were involved from the start. And what this all was a last-ditch effort to live your own life, to be your own person, to make your own decisions. And what happened to anybody in the same circumstances. Now, I do a lot of reading, and over 300 kids in North America every year are involved in their parents' deaths, okay? And when we look into those cases, there's always a common factor, that those kids have had to live up to expectations that weren't reasonable, that they weren't being treated the way a human being should be treated. The house rules were just so out of whack. And you know that because look at all your friends. Look at all the people around you. Does anyone else have a curfew for 9 o'clock at 24 years of age? Jen? Do you know anybody else with those expectations? Yes or no? Yes or no?
It might appear that he's backed off a bit at this moment, and in one way he has, but in a more important way for this moment, he is actually increasing pressure. He's asking her a question that plays into her justification and is easy for her to answer. And in this way, he forces her to stay in the moment, there in that room, and engage with him. She's not allowed to hide right now.
Do you know anyone that has to be under the pressure that you're under? No. I myself don't know of anybody, and I investigate these all the time. I've never seen someone under 24 years of age that has to have gone through what you've gone through. The taking of the love of her life out of her life. The decision to make her own decisions. You had no choice here, Jen, I know that. And anybody else in your situation would have done the exact same thing. The only thing different is I would say that they'd have done it a lot earlier. They would have looked for a way out. You tried everything. You've told them. But no one listened. They didn't listen, Jen. Now, I want you to answer a simple question for me, okay? Can you do that? Look at me for a sec here. Look at me for a sec. I have a simple question for you. I just want to hear yes. Okay? You knew this was going to happen, right? Jen? Jennifer? Let's work through this together, okay? It's okay. You made a mistake. You made a mistake that you can't change. When you can change the fact that you're not going to keep making these mistakes. You don't want to keep making these mistakes, do you? Jen? You want to be a part of the solution, not the problem? You want to be a part of the solution here? Jen? When did you first start planning this? When did you first plan this? Just give me a date. Jen? When did you first start planning this? When was the final straw? What was the final straw? Because that's what this is all about. What was the final thing that did it? Jen, do you want to be a good person here? Okay. And you know when a good person makes a mistake, they have to face that mistake, right? Right?
For those of you just listening and not watching, what she said there is what happens to me.
What do you think should happen? I don't know. What would you like to see happen in this case? What's that? Justice for you? Okay. So, to get that justice, we have to know the whole story. Well, one thing is that you're going to be Jen again. That, I can promise you. You're going to be a person making decisions for Jen. You're going to prove to people that you know what the right thing to do is. That's what is going to happen. You're going to have the chance to explain to me why this got out of hand. You know what I mean? But that's where we have to start. I can't make any promises to you.
This is important. He offers her something a defense lawyer can't use against the Crown's case. That is a mental benefit. The benefit of doing the right thing. But he can't go further than that. If he makes a promise, it will be seen as an inducement and her statement will get thrown out.
You know that. But I can promise I'm going to sit here and listen, and we're going to get justice for your mom. That's what I can promise you. We're going to get justice for your mom. I want to work together with you to get it, though. That's the only way you can understand that. We have to work together now, Jen. We can't be on opposite sides here. There's going to be justice for your mom. It has to be a partnership. You and I have to work together, and we'll get that. So how did this start? Jen, do it for your mom. That's all this is about. I've watched you and all these statements. You know, I know what the truth is, and I know that you loved your mother, and I've told everybody that. I said, the worst thing about this whole thing is that poor girl loved her mom, but she got involved over her head. And every word you heard from your mom, it affected you. I know this is the whole worst thing about this whole thing. You'd give anything just to talk to her one more time, right? But she needs to understand what happened, what went wrong here, okay? So I want you to pretend that I am your mom and get it off your chest. I want you to think of you telling your mom what went wrong. And then we're going to get justice for mom. So we're going to do it together. Yeah? Can we work together? Can you and I work together on this? Okay. This is a plan that went wrong. Okay? You had a plan. You have to tell me about that plan. Then we're going to work through the rest of it, okay? So we have to start with you, okay? Because you got those people there, okay? You set this in motion, okay? We have to know how that happened. Then we're going to figure out it together, okay? That's what your mom wants right now. She's watching us here. She's wondering, is Jen going to make the right decision here? Is Jen, after all of this, going to come out on top doing the right thing? Is she going to be truthful now? Because really all these other things that you've done in your life, you know what? Everybody's lying to their parents, okay? That's just life, okay? I have a daughter too, and she's lied to me. And it hurts as a parent, but at the end of the day, what do we want our kids to do? We don't mind so much if they make a mistake, but we don't want them to keep making the mistakes, right?
He has taken on a parental role. That can be risky, but he knows who he can and can't do that with. He is now the understanding parent, the parent she wants.
Jen, that's what it's all about. Someday you're going to be a parent, and you're going to want the same thing for your kids. And you want to be able to say to a kid honestly that no matter what, you can tell me. And right now, if your mom was sitting with me here, that's all she would expect is that you tell Phil what went wrong here so that there can be justice. It goes beyond just yourself here, okay? We have to think of your mom. She's the most important. There's really nothing else for me that's more important. I'm her voice here today. That's who I work for. Do you know what I'm saying? As a police officer, I have to work for the people that don't have a voice anymore. I have to sit and figure out what went wrong in every case in order that justice can get done. And that's what you want, right? Because we both want the same thing, Ken. Right? Okay, where did this start? Take your time. I want to talk about what happened before that night even came. That's what we need to talk about, okay? What happened before that night? I'm with you to here. We're going to figure it out together, okay? What happened? Okay? Be strong. Be strong for Mom. I'm here for you, Jen. I'm here for your mom. Well, you have to tell, it's one of those situations, you know what? We know that what you did, okay? But you have to be able to explain to me what happened, okay? I can't tell you what's exactly going to happen to you. It's like telling you something without knowing the facts, right? At this point, I know 100% that you were involved and this was planned out ahead of time. But you need to tell me where things went with this. It's the truth that's going to tell me I can give you a better answer. But if you don't give me that, you know what I mean? I don't want to lie to you here. Do you know what I'm saying? Can you see what I'm saying, Jen? I'm not going to lie to you. But I prefer to deal with this at one step at a time. You need to get it out first. And then we're going to sit down and we're going to discuss this so that justice for your mom gets done. That's your priority, isn't it?
I told you.
Okay. Okay, but that's not everything, okay? You weren't straightforward with that, okay? You know that and I know that, right? You didn't give us everything. You misdescribed that, yes. Jen, we're past that, okay?
But what I said is what I remember about them, like how I remembered them.
Okay, but it's impossible because we have another witness. Your dad was right there. And there's no way that you could get those descriptions mixed up. We know that, okay? So let's not go there. Let's go with what we can deal with. Okay. What I need to deal with, though, is, okay, you did not pull the trigger, right? Let's deal with what you didn't do, okay? Right? You weren't a part of that, right? That's positive to know. Okay, but we need to know what you were involved in and what you weren't involved in. Now, we know that you didn't shoot anybody. That's positive, right? You could never do that, could you? No. But before that night ever happened, you knew it was going to happen, right? Let's start there. That's what we need to talk facts here. Okay, I don't want to get into an argument about what happened that night because it happened, okay? And you wish you could have stopped it. Is that true or not? Or are you just saying that to me?
No, if I could stop it, I would have stopped it.
Okay. Did you try to stop it that night?
Yes.
How?
I wanted to go be with my parents. I wanted to go be with them.
Okay, I understand that. But this all started off with the decisions that you made. Okay, those guys didn't show up there to take your money. Okay, we all know that. They came there to do what they did, to shoot your parents. Okay, we know that. Okay, and they didn't get there randomly. Okay, they just didn't decide that we're going to show up here tonight and picked this house randomly. Okay, this was set in motion before that night. And I'm asking you to be responsible here in your answers, Jen. You couldn't stop it once it started. I appreciate that. But what I'm going to say to you is that before it even happened is where you made your bad decision, right? You got those people to come to your house. The plan that you put in motion. So that's what we have to deal with here. Now, do you want justice or not for Mom? Okay. Look at me then, because I'm going to get it for you. But we have to do it together. Tell me how this started, because that's what you haven't told us, Jen. You left that part out. Okay? That's the part I want to hear. That's the part that's going to get us justice here. And we can work through the rest of it. You can help us with the rest of it after that. You want to help us, Jen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad to hear you say that. So you need to tell me how you made this plan. That's all that's missing here. The rest, we know what happened. I don't need you to tell me what happened in that house. I already know. I'm not going to go through that again. What happened that night was unfortunate. What's happened after that to you, it's destroyed you, this whole thing. What are you going to do now, Jim, to make this right? That's what you're faced with. And you can help us. You just have to be brave here. You have to be brave. You have to actually really want justice for your mom. Okay, then you're going to have to show me. You can't just say the words, you got to mean it. Now, how did this get started, Jen? Go ahead. What did you do that you wish you didn't do now? Tell me that. What things did you do that you wish you didn't do? Okay, Jen. What did you do that you wish you didn't do? That's going to help us here. They were supposed to take you? What? Okay. So we're supposed to take the whole family out?
No, just me.
What went wrong?
I don't know.
Okay, so tell me how that happened then. Okay. It was supposed to be you. Is that right? Okay. How was it supposed to happen then? Okay. What happened?
I don't know.
Why did it change?
I don't know.
Okay. What do you know? How come it was supposed to be you?
Because I didn't want to be here anymore.
Why not?
Because I was a disappointment.
She said, I didn't want to be here anymore. And because she was such a disappointment. I don't believe her at all. She has latched on to the justification provided. It's a way for her to admit the crime and still present herself as the victim. If the original plan was that it would be her, she wouldn't have had them come to her house when her parents were home.
Okay, you made mistakes, but nothing that couldn't be corrected. Okay, so how did this play out then? How did it start? What was the plan then? Jen, you have to help me here. We need that justice for Mom now, right? It wasn't supposed to be Mom, you think. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay. What about your dad?
I was supposed to be that. I was supposed to be me.
Okay, why was it supposed to be you?
Everyone could be free from me.
Okay, so why did it happen this way then?
I don't know.
How did they get there?
I don't know.
You knew they were coming though, right? Because you said it was supposed to be you, right? So what had you done ahead of time to make them come there? What did you tell them to do? Jen? Let's work this out, okay? Let's work it out for Mom. Why was it supposed to be you?
Everyone could be free from me. I was disappointed in everything.
Okay, so why did it have to happen this way?
This is an important question, not only because of the manner in which it was meant to occur, but because of the location as well. If her claimed motive and plan were true, there was a reason why she chose to have it done at the house in front of her parents. This will be her opening to explain it. Let's see what she says.
Yeah.
Because when I tried suicide, I failed. A couple of others.
What did you do?
A lot of times. I couldn't do it. It's all the
Okay. So then how did we get to this point? You told these guys to come and kill you? Jen?
Yeah.
Okay, so who did you tell? What did you tell them? What did you want done? How?
It matters.
Okay. So who did you get to do this then? You have to tell me, Jen.
I don't know who he is. I still his number.
Okay. And what's his number?
I don't memorize it.
Where can we find it?
On the cell phone. On the other stuff on the cell phone.
On the Bell cell phone? Where's that phone now?
I don't know what it's encoded.
Okay. And how did you get a hold of this person?
Called him up.
And what did you say to him?
Don't talk like this.
Okay, I appreciate that. How did it happen? How did they get there?
I don't know how they got there.
What was your request?
Come in and take me up.
How would they know who you were?
I was the only young girl in the house.
And what did you discuss with this person?
And I'd have money and that to come take me up and then take it.
And how much was he going to charge for it then? Okay. And that's what you gave him. Now, the guy you spoke to on the phone is the guy that showed up and you gave the money to.
I don't know if that guy is the same guy. I've never met him before.
Okay, did he say his name was?
I used to call him Homeboy.
Okay.
Homie.
How did you get his number to make this call in the first place?
Yeah,
Okay, which one?
and I can't find him anymore.
What's his name?
I don't remember it.
So that black guy, the Rick guy that's Andrew's friend, he set you up with this guy?
Just give me the number.
So when you had those meetings, what did you ask him? What did you tell Rick you needed?
I wanted to be shot or killed.
Okay.
It didn't matter.
What did he say?
Like, just his number and that's it.
Okay. So when did you make that call?
A month ago. 2 months ago. 2 months.
Okay. And what did you discuss?
Just that to make sure I had the money and everything.
Okay. You had to tell him what you wanted though.
I told him that I wanted to be killed.
And did he think that was something crazy?
He said, are you sure that's what you want? And I said, yes.
Because I don't think many people get that request. Do you?
No, but that's what I wanted. And he asked me over and over just to make sure I was sure. And I said I was sure.
That the perpetrator asked her over and over if she was sure doesn't actually work in Jennifer's favor here. It shows that someone else was, by questioning it, giving her a cue that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. It also shows she had opportunity to say she didn't mean it. She had opportunity to change her mind. She chose to proceed.
And what did you ask him to do then?
Come take me out and then leave.
Why did they do it when you were, when your parents were there then?
Never alone. In nighttime.
So that meeting you had with Rick, you told him what you wanted?
No. I just said that I wanted, if you knew anybody who could take care of something that I needed, just that I wanted to be killed.
And he said what?
Here's the number.
Did he have the number with him that day?
Yes.
And that was the first meeting?
Second meeting.
Okay. What happened with the first meeting?
Nothing. I said we just got to know each other.
When you had the first meeting with him, why did you have the first meeting?
I guess that he was a roommate or a friend of mine, and that they were having problems with rent.
Okay, so you phone him up and have another meeting. Is that the meeting that someone saw you at? And who was it that saw you there?
I don't know. My uncle told me that another person that saw me there was a black person.
Okay, and was that black person Rick?
I guess.
Or were you with any other black guy there?
No.
So you know him as Rick?
Yes.
Okay. And you told him what that day then?
If he knew anybody who could help me take care of a job, that I wanted to be killed.
Okay. And he said what?
Call this number.
Okay, did he write it down?
Yes.
Where's that number now?
I put it into my phone and then I threw the paper out.
Okay. What was the number you put in your phone?
I don't memorize the number. It was just on my phone.
Was it, what can you remember about that number though?
It had an 8 and a 5 in it.
What did it start with?
I feel like 6 or 6, 4, 7. I don't remember it. I just remember the middle numbers had an 8 in it.
And what about the 5?
It was like 8, 5, 6. I just remember the 8 because no one else I have had an 8.
And what phone is that number in then?
On the bell line.
The same line. You put it in your phone though. Which phone did you put it in?
It was on a SIM card in the iPhone.
Okay, but you still have to put it in like a friend's or a calendar or
I just kept it, and then when he texted me, I just kept that SIM card.
Okay, so what's the text that you have?
What's that?
He sent what's up, and what did you send back?
And that's my friend one time talk.
Okay, then what?
He said he called me once or twice, just basically just he wanted me to know, and that was it.
Okay, so when did you first talk to the guy?
I don't remember anymore.
Where did you meet him?
I never met him.
And what's his name? What did he go by?
Homeboy.
Did he have an accent?
Voice.
What did he say he would do?
He just like wanted to serve it. Let me do me.
So your specific request to him was what?
Come in, make sure you kill me.
And what did he say?
He said, okay, let me do me.
Let me do me. What does that mean?
Let me do it my way?
Okay. Isn't it odd that somebody would give a request like that?
Mm-hmm.
To kill themselves?
He asked me.
And he's still going to charge you to do that? Okay, so then what happened? You said you talked a few other times. What were the other talks?
He was just like, when? I was just asking him when, and that was it.
Okay, so when then?
He was just like, whenever I have time. Whenever I can get people.
Okay, well, you're not going to show up at your house randomly. You're going to have to know exactly when he's coming. So how did that play out?
He texted me, game on.
Pardon?
He texted me, game on.
When did you get that text?
I don't remember the time. Sometime in the evening.
What day?
That's it.
Okay, so before they came in, you got a text that said game on?
Yeah.
Okay, and where did that come from?
What do you mean?
Pardon me?
What do you mean?
Where did he send it from?
Number he had texted me.
Which was what?
That number I can't remember.
Okay. And what time did you get that game on call?
I don't know sometime.
How many minutes before they came in?
Oh,
Okay, let's get it out. We're working through it. How many minutes before?
I don't know. I didn't even realize they were in.
Okay, but they did come in, right? How much before you heard anything?
Maybe an hour, 2 hours.
So you were just waiting there for 2 hours?
I was watching TV.
1 to 2 hours. She spent those hours watching TV. You might remember she's previously spoke of 2 times that night she was watching TV. Once while she was with her friend who left not that long before the crime. Then up in her room on her own. Here is another opportunity to call it off. 2 decision points. First, when she got the text. She could have texted back any number of things to call it off, but she did not. Then, for 1 to 2 hours, she sat knowing. How many seconds is in 2 hours? 3,600. 3,600 decision points. During any one of those seconds, she could have called it off, but she did not. She made that choice over and over, and she sat in the house with the people who gave her life and acted like everything was normal.
So what time did you get the game on? Where were you when you saw that message first?
I was watching TV with Adrian.
Okay, so he was there. Did you tell him?
No.
Who else knows about this? Jen?
Yeah.
Who else knows about this?
Me and the people who did it.
Okay. And who are they?
I don't know who they are. He just said, let me do me. And then that was it.
So he does come into the house, and you're the obvious only young girl there, right? When he came to your room,
Yeah.
what discussions did you have with the guy that came to your room? The real discussions you had, not what you told us.
Where was the money? And I showed him where the money was.
Okay? But he obviously said, I'm here to do what you asked.
He never said anything like that.
What did he say?
He just said, hands behind your back.
So the money you gave him was payment for killing you? Is that...
Even though she has her head down, you can hear less stress in her voice. She has her new story now. A story she thinks she can live with. One she may think will get her out of there.
He wanted $2,000?
Yes.
When did he give you that figure of $2,000?
In one of our phone conversations.
Okay. What's that?
In one of our phone conversations.
Okay. So, in all the phone conversations you had, when was the first one that you had? What month? Well, Jen, this doesn't happen every day that you ask somebody to kill you, so.
I honestly don't remember though.
Okay. I say you do remember. You're going to have to remember. When's the first time?
I really don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe September?
Like for the first time you mentioned this to Rick, when was that? Back in June, right? Is that right?
Something like that. Spring, summer sometime.
Spring or summer sometime? That means she lived with her parents, faced her extended family and friends, knowing the whole time what she was going to do. I wonder how many seconds or minutes went by between spring and summer and November. How many decision points? One of the many other reasons why this timing is important is for the information on the conspiracy charges.
How come it took so long?
Because I didn't know.
You didn't know what?
I'm sure.
So when did you confirm 100% you wanted it done?
And they accused me of doing something I didn't do.
Who?
Okay.
Which was what?
They accused me of seeing Daniel and didn't.
Okay, so when was that?
End of August maybe.
Okay, so you got in contact with homeboy and said what?
I'd like you to come and take out the 24-year-old girl.
And he said?
Okay, I'll call you.
Then what?
And then call me back and he's like, are you sure? He says, yes.
Okay.
And then he's like, okay, then you just let me do me then.
He said, let me do me?
Yeah.
Which means what?
Let him do it his way.
Okay. Did he discuss ways with you how he would do it?
No.
Did you request any way for him to do it?
Make sure no one else is around.
Did you tell him who lived in the house?
Yeah.
What did you tell him?
I can't. Okay.
Okay, and did you tell them where they are in the house?
No.
What rooms they're in?
No.
Where they would be?
No.
Why didn't they do it the way you wanted?
I don't know. I asked them to take me and my mom when they took them away.
I realize that, but it doesn't seem to make sense.
I know. It doesn't make sense to me. Because I was supposed to be.
Okay. Can you sit up for a minute, Jen? Okay, look at me. Look at me. Okay. Remember everything I told you about what I do for a living? Okay. I'm an expert in determining truth and half-truths. Okay. What you just told me is half the truth. Okay? Now, what I do believe is that you went to somebody. And I do believe that night you paid them the $2,000. That's the true part. But what's not true is it was never for you. Okay, Jen, no. Okay, you went to this person and you asked them to do a job. And the job was for your parents. Okay, that's what we got to get to here. I know that's what really happened, Jen. Okay? That's what really happened. So you've done good here. You're telling me half the truth. I'm going to get the other half out here. That's the part that you need to get to. Now, maybe you were supposed to be part of it, but you definitely wanted your parents out of the picture. Okay, that was for sure. Sit up and listen to me for a minute, because this is important. Now listen, because of how you've been treated for the last 7-8 years of your life, you no longer know how to tell the whole story, the truth from the start, okay? You've been conditioned just to tell little bits of the truth and little bits about lies, right? That's what you've done for 8 years now. That's how you've lived. It's an instinct now. And that's part of your self-preservation that I talked about earlier. And right now, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. You did ask someone to come to the house, Jen, but it wasn't for you. Pardon?
It was supposed to be.
You asked them to do this job on your parents, Jen. Okay? Let's be truthful. Nobody's going to come there and get the wrong people. They're not going to tie you up and just kill your parents. That's not going to happen. That's not realistic. Okay? That never happened. They were there because you planned this. They were there because you gave the order. And I understand why you gave the order, because you couldn't do it yourself. That's good. Jen? Okay, but they were supposed to take your parents, Jen. And they did that part. Nobody needs, if you wanted to kill yourself, Jen, you're not going to pay somebody $2,000 to do it.
I couldn't do it myself.
Okay, but there's other ways. And if that was going to happen, they could have taken you outside and done it anywhere. It wouldn't matter, would it? Okay, there's no need to involve other people in this. If you really wanted to die, all they would have had to do is pull up beside you in a car and shoot you.
He told me just to let him do it.
Okay, but you're not going to accept that, okay? You're not going to accept that he's just going to randomly do it someday. There's other things that happened in this case, Jen, okay? You let them in the house. You let them in. We know that. You went downstairs and you opened that door for them. We know that. Jen, you did leave the door open for them, didn't you? Pardon?
Yes.
Yes. And that's why you went downstairs earlier in the night, right? After your mom got home, what did you do?
Went down and said hello. Pretended to check the door.
And was it locked?
No.
You made sure it was unlocked?
Yes.
Okay, then what?
And I asked her if she wanted bed for me. She said, I don't know.
Okay, so again, we have some truth here. That's good, Jen. We know all along that you let them in, okay? We knew that. I knew why you went downstairs. That was done on purpose, right? You had to let them in, right? Jen?
No.
Okay, now did they tell you to do that?
No.
So what else did they tell you to do?
That was it, just to make sure that they had access.
Okay, so what was the agreement then?
What do you mean?
Well,
I told you $2,000 and they were supposed to kill me. And then they called me and made sure that they had access.
okay, so how did they do that though? What was the question on the phone? Was it a text or a phone message?
Text. VIP access.
What does that mean?
I didn't know. And they just made sure they can get in.
Okay, so you saw a message that said VIP access, meaning they could get in. Okay. And so what did you text back?
I didn't text them back. I called them.
Okay, and what did you say?
I'm like, what does that mean?
Okay. And what did they say?
Make sure that there was a way in.
Okay, and what did you say would be the best way?
Every day, I was just like, front door, and he was like, yes.
So, that's good, Jen. I appreciate that. Because, again, I already knew that's what happened, okay? Your family is going to lock those doors at night, right? That's the routine. So you went down and checked the door and made sure it was unlocked, right?
She was going to check it before she went to bed anyway.
Okay, but she didn't go to bed till midnight, right?
That's why I asked her.
Okay, did you say, I've checked the door?
No.
You didn't tell her?
No.
Okay. And so when you went back upstairs, did you actually talk to Andrew?
No.
Or did you just say that?
No, I really did talk to her.
And the other guy?
Ed, I was on the phone with him.
Okay. In between those calls, did they call you?
Yes.
Or, so how did that play out? Where between those calls did those calls come?
That's fine.
Tell me how that happened.
That's when they got the text. That's when I got the text VIP access.
Okay, so you were talking to Andrew,
Yes.
and had finished,
Mm-hmm.
and then what?
They texted me like VIP access. That's when I hung up and I called and asked them.
So you hung up from Andrew, or
Yes. From Andrew.
and you phoned them?
Yes.
And said, what do you mean?
Yes.
And they said,
Make sure there's a way in.
okay. And you said,
Front doors.
and then,
I went down to the front doors.
and what did you do?
Made sure if they were locked yet, and they weren't.
Okay, so how could you tell? Okay, so you checked them, what did you check?
They're locked.
And did you kind of turn it back, or how?
I don't remember.
When you left that door, you were satisfied that it was open?
Yes.
Then, what happened?
Then everything else I said happened. I went back to my room. I called Ed. I didn't even know when they came in.
This is not entirely true. Police obtained a neighbor's surveillance video that showed the Pan home on that night. You see where the red circle is in the photo? That's Jennifer's bedroom window. Here's a second photo. She'd turned her bedroom lights off and on as a signal to her accomplices that everything was ready to go.
Okay, but they came up to your room, or somebody came up to your room.
Well, like I said, I heard my mom call from my dad, and that's when I went out.
Yeah. And what happened?
And then he was there standing there.
Okay, give me 1 sec, okay?
We're going to skip past all the time she's waiting. Nothing wild happens here, like nobody stands on their head or anything.
Okay, Jen, sorry about that. Okay. So, you get to the point where you get the text message, you go down, you do the door, you go back upstairs, and what do?
Call Ed.
Okay, why do you call him?
What I usually do.
What were you expecting to happen next?
I honestly, I don't know. Because he didn't tell me. This is everything. I didn't know how he was going to do anything.
Okay, what else did he say on the phone? Like he must have told you we were around the corner or something.
No.
Did he tell you how long?
No.
Okay, but it was on for that night. He had game on the text.
No.
Okay. What did you do with those text messages?
That's illegal.
Okay, and the phone that you were you using two phones that night?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to sit up because I can't hear you here. You were using two phones. Okay.
Yeah.
So the phone you were talking to with Andrew on was what phone?
Mm-hmm.
And the one you were talking to them on was what? The iPhone. Okay. And then, did you ever talk to them on the Samsung?
No.
Okay. What next?
And everything else that happened next week instead.
Look at me, Jen. You're almost there. Okay? Most of what happened in the house happened. Okay, we know that. You gave a description of a black guy with dreads. There was no black guy with dreads in there. Okay, we know that. We know that because your dad's not going to miss that. Okay? He gave a good description of the guy that you were with, and he's not even black. So tell me about that. Honestly, Jen, that's exactly. You got to be up front here. Okay? Because obviously you didn't want to tell us everything because there was a plan. You didn't tell us that night either. So now,
that happened after that is
that guy with dreadlocks was never there. Okay, so why did you say that?
But that's what I remember.
Okay, you can't mix that guy up with the description your dad gave. He's not even the same color, right?
But that's
Tell me why you said guy with dreadlocks.
because that's who I.
Because there was no guy with dreadlocks there, Ken. That's the problem here. That's the problem. The issue here is this, and you have to look at me. Your dad wasn't supposed to be a witness. That's where this whole thing went wrong. Your dad wasn't supposed to live.
Exactly. And that was why, at the scene, she didn't ask for her mother or talk about wanting to be with her mother. She wanted to see her dad.
And when he did live, he was able to tell us what really happened that night, which was in conflict with what you told us. Seriously in conflict. Okay, you had all these things about number 2 going upstairs and everything else. Number 2 was down there with a gun on your mom. Number 3 was down, he didn't. Okay, we know that never happened. Okay, I don't want to argue about it. Okay, I'm not going to argue about
But
it.
I've already gone this far.
You've gone this far, but that doesn't mean, okay, what, now, let's get it all straightened out, because this is a total half and half. We're there again, just like the school, just like everything else. This is how you deal with pressure. You give half, and you hold half. You give half, and you don't give the rest of the true facts. That's your stress mechanism, okay? That's what you've been trained to do since you were 15 years old, because your parents could never accept the truth. That's why this whole thing happened, okay? No matter how honest you try to be with them, they always wanted more. It was never good enough. It was never good enough that you were a good kid and that you loved figure skating and piano. And if that's all you ever did, that's good enough. But it wasn't good enough for them. Jen? So what happened here? I'll tell you what happened. You made a specific request, and the job was for your mom and dad. Okay? Nobody's going to come in there and do the wrong job. Nobody's going to do that. They came, you paid, and they did what they were supposed to do. If it was supposed to be for you, you would have said that to them. You never did. Okay? This was always for 2 people. This was for both mom and dad, because they had taken things too far in your life, Jen. That's what it's all about, and you and I have to get that out right now. So sit up for a minute. Let's get this final piece out, okay? But that's the only mistake you made in this whole thing. You got fed up, and you went out and did something about it. This was all about self-preservation. You had no choices. This was the only choice you felt you had left, Jen. I know that's why you feel so bad about this. It's because, okay, no, Jen. You have to be honest with me here.
I am being honest with you.
Jen, okay, it's all going to come out, okay? And the last thing that you want to happen later is for people to say that she didn't tell the whole truth. Okay, this is your one chance.
That's what I do remember.
Okay, but you made a request, Jen, and this was a planned request. And the plan was for your parents, okay? Jen, you have to be honest with it. This is the only thing that's in contention here. You made the mistake, okay? Everybody understands. Everybody in this police department feels sorry for you. I can tell you that right now. Because they've seen what you're going through. It's so obvious that all this tension you put out, basically this is like a volcano, all right? And at one point it was just too much and you erupted, okay? And you made a bad decision. And once you hired this guy, there was no turning back. It was supposed to be yourself, Jen. No, it would not happen that way. It would not happen that way. Now, in the original story, you said that you hid your cell phone. If it was for you, you wouldn't have hid your cell phone. That would have never happened. So it's in conflict.
It's not hiding. It's just I put it there naturally.
Okay.
It's what I naturally do.
Okay, but you said on tape that you hid it there and that they didn't know about it. That's your language, not mine, Jen. Which tells me that you intended to use it sometime to get out of there as a rescue mechanism. So, I already know that you planned this, Jen, and it wasn't for yourself. We know that, Jen. You know that. I know you don't feel good about it. And I know you've thought many times that you would not like to be here. But who caused that? Why did you feel like that? I'll tell you why. It's because of the way you've been treated all these years. You didn't bring that on yourself. They brought it on you. The depression. You were cutting yourself and they didn't even pick up on it. All they wanted was so much success out of you, they were not even looking at you as a person. They were looking for a success story. Instead of just saying, whatever Jen wants is what's good for us. Whatever she's happy with. As long as she's happy in her life, I'm happy with it. If she wants to work at Eastside Mario's for the rest of her life, that's fine. If she wants to be a piano teacher, that's great. If she wants to continue figure skating, that's wonderful. You know what I'm saying, Jen?
I know what you're saying, but
Okay.
this is what I know.
Okay.
And
Okay, so the only thing that you haven't told me is that you put the plan in motion for your parents. And now, you would wish you never did. And that's good. It's good that you feel sorry about it, because you do. If you could go back, you wouldn't have gave that plan to them, would you?
I knew what they were going to do. I wouldn't
Okay,
have done.
and look at me. You knew what they were going to do, okay? Listen, let's be rational here for a minute, okay? Nobody makes a plan to have themselves killed in that fashion. Nobody shows up at your house for no reason and kills the wrong people. That's where we're at here. That's where you're afraid. You're afraid to say that you made that mistake. Don't be afraid, Jen. Just tell the truth. Okay, because we're getting into what's happened to you all your life. I know exactly when you're not telling me exactly what happened, okay? You gotta give us some credit here. This is all that I do. And you're halfway to telling the whole truth, okay? This is another case of making something up in hopes that somebody will listen and accept it, okay? I can't accept it, okay? You know that and I know that. I can't accept that when I know it's not true. And I don't like to see you doing this to yourself. You're just beating yourself up some more here. Jen?
Because I'm telling it to you, but you say that it's contradicting, and I don't
Okay,
understand why.
It doesn't make sense, okay, that someone, if you wanted yourself killed, okay, they wouldn't do it in your house. Okay, there's no reason to hide anything. Someone can just walk up to you and shoot you somewhere where you're by yourself and nobody knows about it and they walk away.
But I'm never by myself.
Okay, at any time you can go out. You were by yourself all day.
But they said they can't do it in the daytime.
So you could walk out the front door and they could have shot you there and ran away. Like, they didn't have to involve other people, and that's why it doesn't make sense. You could have walked out on the front porch and that'd have been the end
But
of it.
I'm not supposed to leave the house.
Okay, but you've done it before, right? Right?
And since they started watching me,
Okay, but that night you could have walked out that front door and nobody knows the difference for 2 seconds.
my mother would know she was right there.
Okay, but they could have came and done it.
Unbelievable. Still blaming her parents, even in this. If she was supposed to be unalived, it's not like she would have to worry about them being mad at her for going outside the house.
But they didn't tell me how they were going to do it.
Why would somebody shoot someone they didn't have to shoot?
I don't know. I can't figure that out.
And actually not shoot the person they're supposed to shoot?
I don't know, but I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay, why didn't you tell us this that night then?
Because I'm scared.
Scared of what? Telling the truth?
Yes. That I wanted to die.
Okay, listen, if you wanted to die, you would tell us everything because it wouldn't matter. Jen. If you really wanted to die, you would tell us everything because it doesn't really matter. Right?
It does matter because the wrong person was hurt. And my dad is suffering.
I appreciate that's what happened in the end, but that's what was supposed to happen. The good thing about this is your dad did live. He did live. And that went against the plan. Okay? He wasn't supposed to make it through. And he did. So that's a good thing. Right? That's a positive in this situation. Jen?
My dad's hurt. How can that be a positive?
Okay, but he's not dead, is he?
No.
And this thing started out with him supposed to be dead. Okay? Jen, there's just no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. And you gotta remember, we're all over this case, okay? And when you say something that's gonna contradict what other people tell us, that the order was for mom and dad, that's not gonna look good, is it? When it comes from someone else, right? Because we're gonna solve this thing. We already know what happened. So I'm not in here guessing with you. I already know what the order was from you. And I have to sit here with you and let you get that off your chest. I know it's not easy. And that's what you're worrying
The
about.
order was from me, but it was for me.
Yeah. No, it was for your parents, Jen. Okay, and that's hard to say. I know that. I know that's hard to say. Okay, because that's not... If you could make this decision over, you would change it. You would change it. Right?
Of course. Because I knew who was going to get hurt. Of course I would.
Jen, you knew who was going to get hurt. That's the whole issue here. Okay, that's the whole issue here. That's all we're dealing with here. From the start, I told you that I know you were involved, and it's beyond asking someone to kill you. The order was for mom and dad. The only mistake they made is they didn't get your dad. Okay, yes, they hurt him. Yes, he's injured, but he's alive, and that's a good thing. And as I told you earlier, this happens to 300 families a year. 300. And it's always because of the same thing, Jen. The people reach the end of their rope. It's the last straw, and they make a mistake. And I agree, once you put those wheels in motion, it's hard to stop it. It's very hard to stop it. So let's get down to the bottom of this, Jen. You got to help me through the rest of this. The only thing that's an issue here today is that you gave a request to these people for your parents and they carried it out. You didn't do it. That's a good thing, okay? You didn't shoot them. You didn't hurt them. Your mistake was making a request. That's where you and I are at right now. Okay, that's the only issue we need to talk about. I'm not going to get into everything else because it's not even important. But we need to see justice done here. And we need to do that together, Jen. And there's only one face to justice, okay? That's the face of truth. Right now, we only have half that face. I need to see the rest of it. Okay, we're only halfway there. You made the mistake of asking them to do it, okay? You asked them to do your parents. It's as simple as that, Jen. And they did. Or they tried to. But you're sorry that this happened, right? Okay, that's what the whole key is here. Everyone wants to know, is she sorry? Because everyone knows that you did it. But they want to know, is given a chance and turning back the clock to that day, would you do it again? No, right? This was a one-time mistake, right? Jen, you gave them the plan for your parents, right? That's all I need to hear.
No.
Jen, you did.
No, and this is not going to go anywhere because I wanted them to kill me.
Okay, maybe you wanted that to happen as well, okay? And maybe things got so bad that that's how you feel, but your parents were brought into this on your request. Yes, Jen, this was your request. And that's what we have to deal with, okay? And that's what you're afraid of here today. That's what you're afraid of. No one's thinking bad of you here. Everybody understands what you went through, okay, and what you are going through. But what people are looking for from this young woman today, you know what they're looking for, Jen? To know that you actually are sorry, okay? That you're sorry that you made the request for your parents, okay? It wasn't for you. We're past that, okay? I don't want to talk about that, okay? The request was for your parents and your parents only. That's it. That's what you put in motion. That's what happened. We know that. At the end of the day, you have to look at yourself and say, when Bill came to me with the answer, did I deal with it? Okay? Because that's where people are going to be looking at you now from. They're going to be saying, what did she do when the police knew and confronted her with the truth? Did she face reality and admit the truth? Or did she run from it? Does she even care what happened?
Of course.
Okay?
What happened?
Okay, so you have to prove that now, Jen, because the only way you can prove it, that you really care, is that you admit that you made a mistake.
I did make a mistake,
Okay. We have to get that on the table, though, and it's not about you, okay? It's about them. It's that simple, okay? It's not complicated, okay?
but is that what you want me to say? But that's not
Yes.
how what happened.
Tell me
though.
what happened.
Ooh, dangerous ground for the detective here. Is that what you want me to say? A defense lawyer can jump on this if the detective is not careful in his response. In respect to the issue of voluntariness, it's not sufficient to simply agree to give a statement.
I want you to tell me that you made the plan for your parents. Okay,
But that's
we're
not-
going to get to the rest of it anyways. We already, I'm in here. There's 20 other investigators on this case. I'm only dealing with the truth as it regards to you. Okay, there's a lot more things that you don't even know that I know. That's why you're not going to be able to tell me things that I don't know already. Okay, so I will know when you're telling me the full truth. I already know you made the plan, so I can't just say, okay, yeah, don't worry about it, you made the plan for yourself, but I know that's not true. You got to know that I already have the answers, okay, or we wouldn't be sitting here. So I do need you to tell me that you made the plan for your parents, okay, because that's what really happened, Jen, okay? I'm not asking you to lie to me. I'm just asking you to tell me that you made the plan for your parents. That's where we're sitting here right now trying to deal with. That's a big hurt for you because I know that you still have love. It's like a love-hate thing. And that's what happens in people's lives. You love them to death, but you can't live with them. You can't live with the situation anymore. That can happen in life. It happens all the time, okay? And essentially, you got forced into a corner here, okay? You didn't have any other choices. 24 years old, Jen, and you're not allowed to make your own decisions. A prisoner in your own house. 9 o'clock curfew. Again, I'm just surprised it never happened before this. Everybody's going to understand that, Jen. But why they're going to understand it? You know why they're going to understand it? Because that's the truth. What people don't understand is when people tell half-truths. They recognize it right away. They recognize that that's not what really happened. Okay, that's not what really happened. You've spent a lifetime trying to get around people, and all it has ever done is hurt you more, Jen. You missed out on an education because you tried to fake it, okay? You missed out on things that made you want to kill yourself. And you realize that. And it reached a low point to the point where if you don't care about yourself, you can't care about other people. See what I mean? You can't care for other people if you can't love yourself. And that's where this got to, Jen. And I don't blame you. But we need to understand this together, right?
Notice how she's messing with the buttons on her shirt. So much nervous energy that her hair wringing isn't enough. And her temperature is rising. Literally. Under the metaphorical heat.
We need to have a resolution here. Stuck. Okay. Can we understand each other, Jen? Okay? You've told so much of the truth, you're just not telling the final portion. This isn't even half-truths anymore. This is 3/4. The only thing missing is 1/4 of the truth. The rest is true. Okay? We know that. We know you got the text. You know that you gave the go-ahead. But the go-ahead wasn't for yourself. That's what's at issue here, Jen. We're going to sit down here and work through this together. Okay? We're going to work this out. We're going to get the full truth. Because you know what? The full truth is only 100%. Not 75%, not 90, not 99. 100% everything that really happened that night. Okay, Jen? Let's do it together. Okay, you did.
I don't understand why it doesn't add up.
Why it doesn't add up is because that's not what happened. The truth will add up. Half-truths don't add up. That's all they ever are, is half-truths. Now, we have to understand each other, Jen. All I need to know, you've already told me that you made the plan. The only issue we have here is that you made it for your parents, and we know that. And I need you to tell me that. Okay? Tell me what happened.
I told you what happened.
Okay. All of it.
You did.
Okay. All you have to do is tell me right now that, Bill, yes, I made a mistake.
So yes, I made a mistake.
This plan was for my parents. That's that's the only issue here. Not about everything that happened that night. We know what happened that night, okay? But we also know that you made this plan for them, not yourself, okay? Or it's not going to go to that. Okay, give me a second.
I'm leaving some of this footage here so you can see she actually completely unbuttons her shirt.
I need you to listen close to me, okay, Jim? At this point in the investigation, I'm going to be arresting you for murder. Also attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Do you understand that? Just have to tell me if you understand those charges. Just say yes or no. Yes. Okay.
He begins reading her rights. He asks her questions to make sure she understands. I'm skipping past most of that because it's routine, but there's a point at which he has to stop. That's the next clip.
1-800-265-0451 is a toll-free number. You have to listen here. So can you take your hands off your ears? I need you to listen.
She refrains from covering her ears and he continues. I'm jumping to when he asks her if she wants to call a lawyer.
Do you wish to call a lawyer now? Yes?
He gives her more information about the charges and her rights, and then this.
Would you like to speak to duty counsel?
I just want to talk to someone who can help me and understand.
Okay, so who would that be?
I don't know.
So do you have a lawyer?
You said that you were on my side. You know?
Okay, I am on your side, Jim. I know what happened here. I'm on the side of truth. I want that to come out here, but at this point you need to deal with the lawyer you said. I have to honor that request.
They talk about her options for which lawyer to get and how to go about it. I'm skipping past all of that for the sake of time. It's standard stuff.
So what I'm going to have to get you to do is actually empty all your pockets on the table here.
Can you? I have to tell people who are expecting me to
Who's that?
my uncle.
Okay, we'll speak to them. Can you stand up and just empty your pockets? Just put it on the table here. Okay. Okay, anything else? Just only those pockets? Okay. Nothing else? Okay. So just have a seat for a minute. I'm just going to check your coat. Okay. Okay, so just sit down.
On camera, he itemizes everything she had in her pockets, including $200 cash from someone who is unemployed and has no more savings. 4 other people were arrested in connection to this crime, including Daniel Wong. David Malvaganam was arrested at a Toronto mall on April 14th, 2011. Eric Carty was arrested on April 15th, 2011 at Maplehurst Correctional, where he was incarcerated for another crime. Lenford Crawford was arrested May 4th, 2011 in Brampton, Ontario. The trials started in March of 2014 and included over 200 exhibits and 50 witnesses. The legal aspects of the case took many twists and turns. It took until December to conclude the trials. During the summer, Carty got a mistrial. Instead of going through a whole new trial, he took a plea and got 18 years. On April 26th, 2018, he died in his cell. The rest of them were convicted in December of 2014. Each was sentenced to life in prison. Jennifer's father and brother requested the court issue a no-contact order prohibiting Jennifer from contacting them again. She was also prohibited from communicating with Daniel Wong. In May of 2023, all of the offenders appealed and they won a new trial. Since that time, there has been more legal wrangling, but the public doesn't hear the details of these things. That's it for now. Stay safe. See you in the comments.